Hello dear students, welcome to online biology bridge course class, and in this video I am going to discuss about the parasitism. So in that parasitism, one very interesting example I am going to discuss in the today's bridge course video. First, let us understand what is parasitism. Between two organisms in the environment, we can see the different types of interactions. Sometimes that interaction is competition, sometimes it is mutualism, where both the interacting organisms are benefited in case of mutualism. And sometimes it is predation. One is very mild organism or animal, another is very powerful and wild or attacking. Like that, one more type of very common interaction observed between two organisms is parasitism. So, what is parasitism? It is also a kind of population interaction between two organisms where one is parasite and another is host. The interaction between parasite and host is known as parasitism. Then question is, what is parasite and what is host? Parasite is one organism which gets its basic requirements, especially the food, from other living organism, in turn causing the harm to that organism. Say for example, mosquito. It bites to the humans, it sucks the blood from human body, and in turn it transfers or transmit the disease causing organism. This is one simple interaction between man and mosquito. So here mosquito is the parasite and man is host, because mosquito is getting or deriving food from human blood, and in turn it is transmitting disease to the human. So one organism, if it is getting the food from other living organism, in turn harming it, that organism is called parasite. And host is the one organism which provides the basic requirements to the parasite. It is called host. So between mosquito and man, man becomes the host and the mosquito is parasite. In the image here I have selected lice, very commonly found, but nowadays its infection becomes a little bit less or rare. Example, ticks and lice, both of them are the parasites present on the human body, represent this interaction where parasites receive benefit as they derive nourishment by feeding on the blood of humans. The one organism, if it is getting the nourishment or the food from other living organism, here other living organism is very important term, and in turn it is harming the organism which has provided the nourishment. Therefore, the parasite is the benefited organism in the interaction and host is harmed organism in the interaction. Host is the organism which provides the nourishment and other requirements like shelter. It provides protection, the three basic necessities of every organism: food, shelter and protection. So if these three requirements are provided by one organism to another, it becomes host, and the organism which is getting these benefits from other and harming it, it is called parasite. So between parasite and the host, type of the interaction is called parasitism. Here are some examples. Leech, in Kannada it is called jigane. ಇದನ್ನ ಜಿಗಣೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. The leech, it is parasite. And a very interesting point about the leech is its mouth contains sucker. The name is sucker. That means with the help of this disc-like sucker, leech absorbs blood from the animal body. Whether it is man or it is some other animal, irrespective of the type, the leech sucks the blood from the animal body. Now try to concentrate on the next explanation about the leech. The saliva of leech contains anticoagulant substance. The saliva, that means the secretion of the mouth, it contains anticoagulant substance. Then question is, what is the meaning of anticoagulant substance? Coagulation is the term used to describe the phenomenon or the process blood clotting. The blood clotting process is also known as blood coagulation or simply coagulation. The saliva of leech contains anticoagulant, the chemical substance which prevents blood clotting is called anticoagulant. Biological name of the leech is hirudin. Leech is a general English term and its biological name is Hirudinaria, and it is belonging to the phylum Annelida, because the body of the leech is divided into many segments, and all the segments, here you can see single ring-like structure. Each such folding represents one segment, and if the body of animal is segmented, those animals are included in the phylum called Annelida. So Annelida member is a leech and its biological name is Hirudinaria. The chemical or the anticoagulant substance present in the saliva of leech is hirudin. When hirudin combines with the blood of animal, it prevents the blood clotting, and so that it will be very easy to suck the blood from animal body. It is the very significant property of the annelidan member called leech. This one is liver fluke, and these cells, these biconcave cells are RBCs, and this ring-like structure which can be seen in the RBCs is nothing but plasmodium. Liver fluke and plasmodium, they enter into the body of host. Completely, they enter into the body of a host, and such parasites are called endoparasites. Very easy to remember the term. Endo means inside. What is that inside? If the parasite enters inside the body of an organism, it is called endoparasite. Ectoparasite, leech is the one example. Mosquitoes are another example. Scorpion is not a parasite. The mosquitoes and house flies, they are also one kind of parasites. They just remain on the surface of animal body. They do not enter into the body of animal. Just they remain attached. Even ticks and lice are also belonging to the same group. They do not enter into the body. Just they remain attached to the surface of animal body. Such parasites are called ectoparasite. Ecto means outside. If the parasite remains outside the body of an animal, if it is not entering into the body, if the parasite remains attached to the surface of animal body, such parasites are called ectoparasites. If the parasite enter into the body of an animal, they are called endoparasites. Then you may have the question, which parasite is harmful to the host? Whether it is endoparasite or it is ectoparasite, both of them are causing harmful effects on the body of host. Whether it is endoparasite or it is ectoparasite, both of them are causing harmful effect to the host. So whether it is entering into the body or it is remaining on the surface, that doesn't matter. Always parasites are proved to be harmful for the host organism. Then in the beginning only I told you that I am going to explain one interesting fact about the parasitism. What is that? It is brood parasitism. Meaning of brood parasitism and where it is commonly found. The brood parasitism is very commonly found in the birds, that to be between cuckoo and crow, kage ಮತ್ತು ಕೋಗಿಲೆ. So crow and cuckoo, they are the best examples showing brood parasitism. Actually, this is shown by the cuckoo and the helping bird is crow. What is that? The cuckoo, she never built the nest. At the time of laying the eggs, always the female cuckoo, she will be searching for the nest constructed by crow. So crow, any bird, if you take the example of any bird, irrespective of the size, at the time of laying the eggs, the bird, they built their own nest, and they are the very good architectures of the nature. More than any civil engineer, more than a trained architect, such wonderful nests are created and constructed by the birds. And in this particular type of parasitism, that is brood parasitism, what happens? The cuckoo, she lay her eggs in the nest of crow. Then question is whether these eggs are identified by the crow or not. Because some eggs in the nest are of crow and some eggs in the nest are of cuckoo. How it is possible that crow is unable to identify the eggs of cuckoo? Because the eggs are developed in such a way that their size and color is similar to that of the host bird. That means the color of cuckoo egg or eggs of the cuckoo are quite similar to the eggs of crow with reference to its size and color. This has developed during the evolution, because cuckoo is dependent on crow only for the purpose of laying the eggs, not for any other requirements. That is why this is called brood parasitism. Here the cuckoo is dependent on the crow only for the purpose of laying the eggs. That kind of the parasitism is called brood parasitism. Then crow is unable to detect the other eggs or foreign eggs, or we can say the eggs of the cuckoo, because the eggs of the crow and eggs of the cuckoo are similar in size and color. This is due to the course of evolution. The eggs developed in such a way that they resemble the eggs of host bird. Therefore, the crow is unable to identify or to differentiate own egg and cuckoo egg. Then what happens? As usual, the crow incubate them. What is that incubation? It is providing the heat to the egg so that embryo in the egg it completes the development. Finally, the offspring or the baby hatches out of the egg. So after certain period of time, even the crow it feeds the babies of cuckoo also, because it cannot differentiate whether it is own offspring or it is of cuckoo in the initial days. But when cuckoo starts producing the sound or voice, obviously voice of the cuckoo is very melodious as compared to the crow. At that time the crow identifies the different offsprings in her nest. But till that development, crow is unable to differentiate between her own eggs and the eggs of cuckoo. One bird is dependent on another bird only for the purpose of laying the eggs. This kind of parasitism is called brood parasitism. Then why the host bird is unable to differentiate the eggs of parasitic bird? Because the color and size of parasitic bird it resembles the eggs of host bird. This is the reason why the host bird is unable to detect the foreign eggs. This kind of relationship between the two birds, where one bird is dependent on another bird only for the purpose of laying eggs, this is called brood parasitism. And the very specific example for this one is the brood parasitism is observed between cuckoo and crow. Hope the explained part is clear for you. Thank you.